The year was 2472. Humanity had spread across the stars, building cities on distant planets and exploring the unknown. They had grown strong, but they were not alone. Many alien civilizations existed in the galaxy, some peaceful, others hostile. On Earth, deep inside the United Nations Space Command, UNSC, headquarters, alarms blared. The red lights flashed across the war room as high-ranking officials gathered. Admiral Marcus Steele, a tall man with sharp blue eyes, stood at the center of the room, staring at the holographic display in front of him. It showed a massive alien fleet approaching human space. "This is no ordinary attack," said Dr. Evelyn Carter, a scientist specializing in extraterrestrial intelligence. "We've intercepted their transmissions. They call themselves the Scifi Dominion. They don't just want to conquer us. They want to erase us." A heavy silence filled the room. The Scifi were a race of advanced warlords, rumored to have wiped out dozens of civilizations. They saw humans as a threat, an unpredictable species that expanded too quickly and refused to bow to alien rule. "How long until they reach our outer colonies?" Steele asked, his voice firm. 4 days, responded General Ivan Volkov. "And we estimate their full invasion force will be here in less than 2 weeks." The weight of the moment pressed on them all. The outer colonies had some defenses, but nothing that could stop an armada this size. Earth itself would soon be in danger. Dr. Carter took a deep breath and continued. "The Scifi do not take prisoners. If they reach Earth, we will be exterminated." The room erupted into urgent discussions. Some officers suggested retreating, others talked about surrender. But Admiral Steele raised his hand, silencing them all. "Surrender is not an option," he declared. "We are humans. We fight. We adapt. And we survive." A sense of determination spread through the room. Steele turned to General Volkov. "Prepare every warship we have. Call back all fleets from the outer systems. It's time we show the galaxy what humanity is made of." Meanwhile, on the Scifi flagship, light years away, the Scifi High Warlord Sorvin stood on the bridge of his massive warship, the Devourer. The Scifi were a tall reptilian species with hardened exoskeletons and glowing yellow eyes. They were proud warriors who had conquered countless worlds. A Scifi officer approached him. "High Warlord, the humans have detected our approach. Their fleets are mobilizing." Sorvin let out a low growl. "Let them come. They are weak compared to us. Their kind is reckless, emotional. They will break." The officer hesitated. "There is something different about them, my lord. Other species have surrendered to us in fear, but humans, they fight until the last breath. They do not accept defeat." Sorvin narrowed his glowing eyes. He had seen the reports. Humans were unpredictable, intelligent, and had an unnatural ability to turn the tide of battle. Even so, he remained confident. "Then we will crush them faster," he said coldly. "Prepare for war." Back on Earth. On the ground, factories worked day and night to produce weapons, ships, and armor. The military called for every able-bodied soldier to prepare for war. Across the world, people put aside their differences. There were no longer nations, only Earth, united against extinction. Admiral Steele watched from the command center as engineers upgraded Earth's planetary defenses. Giant railguns were installed on the moon, and massive battle stations were deployed in orbit. Every ship in the fleet was armed to the teeth. "This will be the fight of our lives," Steele muttered. Dr. Carter stood beside him, a hologram in her hand. "I've been analyzing Scifi war tactics. They rely on brute force. But we have something they don't: ingenuity." Steele smirked. "Then we'll use it." The countdown had begun. The battle for humanity's survival was coming, and Earth was ready. The countdown had begun. Humanity had less than 4 days before the Scifi Dominion reached the outer colonies. Across Earth and its territories, soldiers prepared for war. Factories worked non-stop, producing warships, weapons, and armor. Scientists developed new battle strategies. Every human, no matter their background, stood united. In the heart of the UNSC Command Center, Admiral Marcus Steele studied a massive holographic display of the incoming enemy fleet. The XL-Airy Armada was unlike anything humanity had ever faced. Thousands of warships, each bristling with weapons capable of destroying entire cities. Beside him, Dr. Evelyn Carter scrolled through data on her tablet. If we face them head-on, we'll be wiped out, she said. We need a strategy. Steele's eyes narrowed. Then we strike first. The mission. The room fell silent. General Ivan Volkov crossed his arms. Are you suggesting an attack before they reach us? Steele nodded. We can't let them dictate the battlefield. We have one advantage. They think we'll be afraid. But humans don't wait for death. We fight. Dr. Carter tapped on her screen. I might have something. She pulled up a hologram of XL-Airy warships. They use centralized command nodes for fleet coordination. If we hit their command ships first, their forces will become disorganized. Steele turned to Volkov. We'll send a strike team to take out those nodes. Small, fast, and precise. We'll cripple them before they reach our colonies. Volkov smirked. I like it. I'll handpick the best soldiers we have. The team assembles. Within hours, a special task force was formed. They were the best pilots, engineers, and soldiers humanity had to offer. At the center of the team was Commander Alex Reeves, a decorated war hero. Reeves stood in the war room, his helmet under his arm. So, we're going straight into the heart of an alien armada? He asked with a grin. Steele nodded. In and out. We take out their command nodes and cripple their fleet. Reeves turned to his team, a mix of elite Marines, pilots, and hackers. All right, people. This is humanity's first punch in this war. Let's make it count. Into the fire. A fleet of stealth ships launched from Earth's military base on Titan, Saturn's moon. Their mission was clear: destroy the XL-Airy command nodes before the full invasion began. Inside Reeves' ship, the Nightfall, tension filled the air. Soldiers checked their weapons, engineers monitored systems, and pilots prepared for combat. We'll be entering their space in 5 minutes, said Lieutenant Kira Shaw, Reeves' co-pilot. Reeves took a deep breath. Stay sharp. We only get one shot at this. As they neared the enemy fleet, the Nightfall's cloaking system activated, making them nearly invisible to XL-Airy scanners. The alien warships loomed ahead, massive, covered in dark metallic armor, their weapons glowing with eerie blue energy. This is insane, muttered Sergeant Jackson Cole, gripping his rifle. Reeves smirked. Welcome to the job. The attack begins. The human strike team moved with precision. Small fighter squadrons weaved between the enemy ships, dodging patrols. Inside the XL-Airy flagship, the Devourer, High Warlord Xorvan sat on his throne, watching the fleet advance. Suddenly, alarms blared. Commander, an officer shouted, multiple explosions in our rear ranks. We're under attack. Xorvan stood, his yellow eyes narrowing. Impossible. No one would dare. Before he could finish, another explosion rocked the ship. The humans had struck. Chaos in the fleet. On the Nightfall, Reeves and his team breached a command ship, blasting through alien corridors. Energy weapons fired as XL-Airy guards rushed to defend their station. Shaw dodged a plasma shot and returned fire, taking down an enemy soldier. We need to plant the charges fast. Cole placed an explosive on a power relay. Done. Moving to the next. As they advanced, alarms echoed through the ship. The XL-Airy were confused, unprepared for such a bold attack. Back in space, human stealth fighters launched torpedoes at key enemy nodes, causing chaos in their ranks. The massive alien warships collided into each other, unable to coordinate. The escape. Inside the enemy command ship, Reeves' team fought their way back to their shuttle. The explosives were set. The ship would blow in 2 minutes. "We need to go now," Reeves shouted. The team sprinted through the corridors, dodging fire. As they reached the hangar, a massive Scifi warrior blocked their path. The alien roared, its energy blade crackling. It lunged at Reeves. But before it could strike, Cole fired a rocket launcher straight into its chest. The warrior was thrown back, slamming into a wall. "Not today," Cole muttered. The team boarded their shuttle and blasted out of the hangar. Behind them, the Scifi command ship erupted into flames, its systems failing. Victory. For now. On the Devourer, Corvin watched as his command ships burned. His fleet was still strong, but their coordination was broken. His forces were thrown into disarray. "Human trickery," he growled. "They are more dangerous than I thought." Back on Earth, Admiral Steele and Dr. Carter watched the battle reports. Steele clenched his fist. "They know we won't go down without a fight," he said. Dr. Carter nodded. "This war has just begun." Humanity had struck first, and they were ready for whatever came next. The destruction of the Scifi command ships sent shockwaves through the enemy fleet. Without their central coordination, the warlords struggled to organize their attack. For the first time, the Scifi felt something unusual: uncertainty. Back on Earth, inside the UNSC Command Center, Admiral Marcus Steele and Dr. Evelyn Carter studied the latest battle reports. Across the galaxy, human forces had launched surprise attacks on Scifi supply lines and key outposts. "Reeves and his team did it," Steele said. "The Scifi are in chaos." Dr. Carter nodded but looked worried. "We bought ourselves time, but they're not defeated. Their fleet is still enormous." Steele exhaled. "Then we hit them harder." A new plan. General Ivan Volkov stepped forward. "We need to push our advantage. We have intercepted Scifi transmissions. They are retreating to Zeta Prime, their forward operating base. If we attack now, we can cripple them before they regroup." Dr. Carter adjusted her glasses. "Zeta Prime is heavily fortified. We can't just storm in." Steele smirked. "Then we don't storm in. We surprise them." Commander Reeves returns. On the military ship Olympus, Commander Alex Reeves and his strike team recovered from their last mission. Reeves leaned against a railing, watching the stars. His body ached from battle, but his mind was sharp. Lieutenant Kira Shaw approached him. "Orders from Earth, sir. We're heading to Zeta Prime." Reeves turned to his team. Sergeant Jackson Cole checked his weapons while hacker Elena Frost adjusted her wrist device. Cole smirked. "Back into the fire. Ha." Reeves grinned. "Wouldn't have it any other way." The battle for Zeta Prime. The human fleet jumped into Scifi space, appearing near Zeta Prime. Massive enemy warships floated in orbit, their guns glowing. The planet below was covered in fortresses and weapons platforms. Steele's voice came through the fleet's comms. "This is it. We take Zeta Prime. We take their power. Let's end this." The battle erupted. In space, human warships dodged plasma beams, returning fire with railguns and missiles. Stealth bombers weaved between enemy ships, planting explosives. Mechs launched from battleships, engaging Scifi fighters in zero-gravity combat. On the ground, Reeves and his team landed on Zeta Prime's surface, fighting through enemy defenses. Plasma bolts scorched the air as human marines pushed forward. Cole fired his shotgun, taking down an alien soldier. "This place is a nightmare." Elena hacked into an enemy control panel. "I'm disabling their defenses. Buy me 2 minutes." Shaw threw a grenade, clearing a path. "Make it 1." Reeves led the charge, his rifle blazing. "Keep moving. We take this base, we take the war." The Scifi fought fiercely, but they were not prepared for the human assault. The High Warlord's fury. From his command center, High Warlord Sorvin watched the battle unfold. His soldiers were losing ground. A Scifi officer turned to him. "The humans are stronger than expected." Sorvin clenched his claws. They are reckless, unpredictable. But they will not win. He activated a secret weapon, a planetary defense cannon hidden beneath the fortress. Its energy core began charging, aiming straight at the human fleet. The final push. Back on the ground, Alina gasped. "Sir, they have a planet-killer weapon charging up." Reeves cursed. "How long until it fires?" 2 minutes. Steele's voice came over comms. "Reeves, you need to disable that cannon." Reeves didn't hesitate. "We're on it." His team sprinted through enemy lines, dodging plasma fire. They reached the control room and found a heavily armored Scifi warlord blocking their way. The alien roared, "Your kind is doomed." Reeves gritted his teeth. Not today. The battle was on. The battle for Zeta Prime raged on. In space, human warships clashed with the Scifi fleet, dodging plasma fire while launching powerful counterattacks. On the ground, Commander Alex Reeves and his team fought their way through the alien stronghold, racing to stop the planetary defense cannon before it fired at the human fleet. Inside that Scifi fortress, the air was thick with smoke and the scent of burned metal. Reeves, his pulse racing, gripped his rifle tightly. Beside him, Sergeant Jackson Cole reloaded his shotgun, his armor scorched from close combat. Alina Frost, the team's hacker, worked furiously on a control panel. "The cannon is 80% charge. We have less than 2 minutes to shut it down." A deep guttural roar filled the corridor. A towering Scifi warlord stood in their path, his spiked exoskeleton glistening, his energy blade crackling with deadly power. His yellow eyes glowed with fury. "I am Warlord Kraxul," the alien growled. "You are nothing but insects in the way of the Dominion." Reeves smirked, raising his rifle. "We'll see about that." The duel. Kraxul lunged forward, swinging his energy blade. Reeves barely dodged, rolling to the side as the blade sliced through the wall, leaving a burning mark. Cole fired his shotgun, but the Scifi deflected the blast with his blade, moving impossibly fast for his size. "Bullets aren't working," Cole yelled. "Then we get creative," Reeves shouted. Shaw tossed a plasma grenade. It exploded near Kraxul, sending him staggering back. Reeves didn't hesitate. He grabbed a fallen Scifi shock spear, activating its blue energy tip. "You like blades?" Reeves smirked. "Let's fight with blades." The warlord roared in approval. A warrior's death, then. Their weapons clashed, sending sparks flying. Kraxul was stronger, but Reeves was faster, dodging each heavy swing and striking back with quick, precise attacks. The countdown continued. 60 seconds remaining. Alina shouted, "I need more time." Reeves knew they didn't have it. He faked left, then spun and drove the shock spear into Kraxul's chest. The warlord staggered, growling in pain. Impossible. Reeves twisted the spear and electrified the alien, sending blue energy coursing through his body. Kraxul let out one final roar before collapsing. Reeves pulled out the spear and turned to Alina. "Now." The shutdown. Alina's fingers moved fast over the controls. 30 seconds. Sweat dripped from her brow. Come on. A loud beep. The energy core shut down just in time. The cannon's glow faded, and the screen flashed. "Scifi offline." The human fleet was safe. "Yes." Shaw cheered. Reeves grinned, wiping sweat from his forehead. "Let's get out of here." Victory in space. Above Zeta Prime, Admiral Marcus Steele watched from his command ship as the enemy fleet struggled to regroup. "Sir," a tactical officer said, "their planetary cannon is offline. We have an opening." Steele clenched his fist. "All ships, attack with everything we have." Human warships unleashed a storm of missiles and railgun fire. The Scifi fleet, already weakened, began to fall apart. One by one, their warships exploded, debris scattering through space. Steel exhaled. Zeta Prime is ours. The warlord's rage. On his flagship, the Devourer, High Warlord Sorvin watched in fury. How? He roared, slamming his clawed fist against the control panel. A Cellary officer trembled. The humans. They fight like no species we have faced. They do not retreat. They do not surrender. Sorvin's eyes burned with rage. It was Overseer Raxol. You dare set foot on my ship? The alien growled. Reeves raised his rifle. We're not leaving until Sorvin is dead. Raxol charged, swinging a massive energy blade. Reeves barely dodged. The final battle had begun. Inside the Devourer, the flagship of the Cellary fleet, Commander Alex Reeves and his team faced Overseer Raxol, a towering alien warrior with a crackling energy blade. The battle outside in space was fierce, but inside this ship, the fight had become personal. Raxol's yellow eyes burned with hatred. You have fought well, humans, he growled. But this is where your story ends. Reeves raised his rifle, his finger tight on the trigger. We'll see about that. The battle inside. Raxol charged forward, swinging his massive blade. Reeves jumped aside just in time as the weapon sliced through metal, leaving a deep, glowing cut in the floor. Sergeant Jackson Cole opened fire with his shotgun. The energy shell slammed into Raxol's armor, but the Cellary warrior barely flinched. Lieutenant Kira Shaw tossed a grenade. Cover. Boom. The explosion filled the corridor with smoke. For a moment, it seemed like the alien had fallen. But then, from the smoke, Raxol leaped forward, grabbing Cole by the throat and slamming him into the wall. The sergeant groaned in pain. Jackson, Reeves shouted, rushing forward. He activated his shock knife, aiming for Raxol's side. But the alien saw him coming. With lightning speed, Raxol knocked the knife out of Reeves' hand and kicked him backward. Reeves crashed against a control panel, sparks flying around him. Shaw fired her rifle, aiming for the weak points in Raxol's armor. The alien grunted in pain, but kept fighting. Elena Frost, the teen's hacker, had stayed low. Now she saw an opportunity. She pulled out a pulse disruptor from her pack and activated it. Move, she yelled. Reeves and Shaw dove aside as Elena threw the device. It landed near Raxol's feet and exploded with an energy pulse. The shockwave sent Raxol flying, his armor sparking from the overload. He crashed into the wall, stunned. Reeves didn't waste a second. He grabbed a fallen Cellary spear, activated its glowing energy tip, and drove it straight into Raxol's chest. The alien let out a roar of pain, his body shuddering. His glowing eyes flickered, then went dark. The overseer was dead. Reeves pulled the spear free and exhaled. One down. Cole groaned from the floor. Someone remind me never to get choked by an alien again. Shaw smirked, helping him up. Noted. The mission continues. Elena checked her wrist device. Guys, we have a problem. Sorvin is in the command center, and he's activating the ship's self-destruct. Reeves frowned. He's going to take us down with him. Steele's voice came through their earpieces. Reeves, do you read me? We need you to disable that ship. If the Devourer explodes, it could take out half our fleet. Reeves tightened his grip on his rifle. We're on it, Admiral. The team rushed through the corridors, taking down Cellary soldiers as they moved. Time was running out. The final confrontation. They reached the command center. Inside, High Warlord Sorvin stood before a glowing control panel. His black armor shimmered, and his clawed hands rested on the controls. He turned slowly, his reptilian face filled with fury. You dare defile my ship. Sorvin's voice was a deep, angry growl. Reeves raised his rifle. Shut down the self-destruct, and we might let you live. Sorvin let out a thunderous laugh. You think you've won. He stepped forward, towering over them. We are the Scifi Dominion. We do not surrender. With a press of a button, he activated his battle armor. A powerful energy shield formed around him, making him almost invincible. Cole groaned. "Oh, come on." Sorvin charged forward, his fists glowing with raw energy. Shaw fired her rifle. The bullets bounced off the shield. Reeves dodged as Sorvin swung a massive punch, smashing a computer console into pieces. Sparks flew everywhere. It was Overseer Raxol. "You dare set foot on my ship," the alien growled. Reeves raised his rifle. "We're not leaving until Sorvin is dead." Raxol charged, swinging a massive energy blade. Reeves barely dodged. The final battle had begun. Inside the Devourer, the flagship of the Scifi fleet, Commander Alex Reeves and his team faced Overseer Raxol, a towering alien warrior with a crackling energy blade. The battle outside in space was fierce, but inside this ship, the fight had become personal. Raxol's yellow eyes burned with hatred. "You have fought well, humans," he growled. "But this is where your story ends." Reeves raised his rifle, his finger tight on the trigger. "We'll see about that." The battle inside. Raxol charged forward, swinging his massive blade. Reeves jumped aside just in time as the weapon sliced through metal, leaving a deep, glowing cut in the floor. Sergeant Jackson Cole opened fire with his shotgun. The energy shell slammed into Raxol's armor, but the Scifi warrior barely flinched. Lieutenant Kira Shaw tossed a grenade. "Cover." Boom. The explosion filled the corridor with smoke. For a moment, it seemed like the alien had fallen. But then, from the smoke, Raxol leaped forward, grabbing Cole by the throat and slamming him into the wall. The sergeant groaned in pain. "Jackson," Reeves shouted, rushing forward. He activated his shock knife, aiming for Raxol's side. But the alien saw him coming. With lightning speed, Raxol knocked the knife out of Reeves' hand and kicked him backward. Reeves crashed against a control panel, sparks flying around him. Shaw fired her rifle, aiming for the weak points in Raxol's armor. The alien grunted in pain but kept fighting. Elena Frost, the team's hacker, had stayed low. Now she saw an opportunity. She pulled out a pulse disruptor from her pack and activated it. "Move," she yelled. Reeves and Shaw dove aside as Elena threw the device. It landed near Raxol's feet and exploded with an energy pulse. The shockwave sent Raxol flying, his armor sparking from the overload. He crashed into the wall, stunned. Reeves didn't waste a second. He grabbed a fallen Scifi spear, activated its glowing energy tip, and drove it straight into Raxol's chest. The alien let out a roar of pain, his body shuddering. His glowing eyes flickered, then went dark. The Overseer was dead. Reeves pulled the spear free and exhaled. One down. Cole groaned from the floor. "Someone remind me never to get choked by an alien again." Shaw smirked, helping him up. "Noted. The mission continues." Elena checked her wrist device. "Guys, we have a problem. Sorvin is in the command center, and he's activating the ship's self-destruct." Reeves frowned. "He's going to take us down with him." Steele's voice came through their earpieces. "Reeves, do you read me? We need you to disable that ship. If the Devourer explodes, it could take out half our fleet." Reeves tightened his grip on his rifle. "We're on it, Admiral." The team rushed through the corridors, taking down Scifi soldiers as they moved. Time was running out. The final confrontation. They reached the command center. Inside, High Warlord Sorvin stood before a glowing control panel. His black armor shimmered, and his clawed hands rested on the controls. He turned slowly, his reptilian face filled with fury. "You dared defile my ship." Sorvin's voice was a deep, angry growl. Reeves raised his rifle. "Shut down the self-destruct, and we might let you live." Sorvin let out a thunderous laugh. "You think you've won." He stepped forward, towering over them. We are the Scifi Dominion. We do not surrender. With a press of a button, he activated his battle armor. A powerful energy shield formed around him, making him almost invincible. Cole groaned. "Oh, come on." Thorvin charged forward, his fists glowing with raw energy. Shaw fired her rifle. The bullets bounced off the shield. Reeves dodged as Thorvin swung a massive punch, smashing a computer console into pieces. Sparks flew everywhere. Elena shouted, "I need time to shut down his shield. Keep him busy." Reeves gritted his teeth. Time to get creative. He grabbed a high-voltage cable from the wreckage and swung it at Thorvin's shield. The shield flickered for a second. Shaw saw the opening. She fired a grenade launcher. Boom. The blast sent Thorvin staggering back, his shield weakening. Elena finished hacking. Now, his shield is down. Reeves didn't hesitate. He grabbed a fallen Scifi plasma sword and lunged forward. Thorvin roared in anger, but Reeves drove the blade straight through his chest. The warlord's eyes widened in shock. "You cannot." Thorvin gasped. Reeves twisted the blade. "We just did." With a final growl, High Warlord Thorvin fell to the ground, dead. The war ends. Elena shut down the self-destruct sequence. Steele's voice came through the comms. "The enemy fleet is breaking apart. We've won." A loud cheer erupted across the human fleet. The war was over. Reeves sighed in relief. "It's done." Cole grinned. "Now, can we finally take a vacation?" Shaw chuckled. "After a few more battles, maybe." Humanity had faced the strongest empire in the galaxy. And won. They were no longer just survivors. They were the champions of the stars. The Great War was finally over. The Scifi Dominion, once the most feared empire in the galaxy, had been defeated. Their leader, High Warlord Thorvin, lay dead aboard his own ship. His mighty fleet, now leaderless, had collapsed into chaos. Many Scifi ships fled into deep space, while others surrendered. Inside the enemy flagship, the Devourer, Commander Alex Reeves, and his team stood exhausted but victorious. Sergeant Jackson Cole wiped sweat from his face. "So, that's it. We actually won." Lieutenant Kira Shaw smiled. "We did." Hacker Elena Frost tapped her wrist device. "I just got word from Admiral Steele. The Scifi forces are in full retreat." Reeves took a deep breath. "Then it's over." The return home. As the human fleet secured the battlefield, Reeves' team returned to the Olympus, their command ship. When they entered the bridge, Admiral Marcus Steele turned to them, his expression filled with pride. "You did it," Steele said. "Earth is safe because of you." Reeves shook his head. "Not just us. Every soldier, every scientist, every pilot. We all did this together." Dr. Evelyn Carter, who had been monitoring the war from the command center, stepped forward. "Humanity has done the impossible," she said. "We stood against a force that should have crushed us, and yet, we won." Outside the ship, the stars were filled with wreckage. Scifi ships burning, human ships standing tall. The war had cost millions of lives, but it had also united the people of Earth and its colonies. For the first time in history, humanity was no longer just a species fighting for survival. They had become something greater. They had become the defenders of the galaxy. A message to the galaxy. A few days later, a broadcast was sent from Earth to every known civilization in the galaxy. Admiral Steele stood before a camera, his face serious but hopeful. "To all who hear this message," he said, "this war was never one we wanted. But when the Scifi came to destroy us, we did not surrender. We fought back. And now we stand victorious." He paused, looking directly into the camera. "Let this be a warning to any who wish to conquer or enslave others. Humanity will not bow. We will not break. And we will never stop fighting for our freedom." The message was clear. Earth was no longer a weak, isolated world. It was a power to be reckoned with. A new beginning. In the days that followed, the survivors of the war worked together to rebuild. The damaged colonies on Mars, Titan, and the Moon were repaired. The human fleet expanded, using cellular technology to become even stronger. A new Galactic Defense Force, GDF, was formed, uniting all human colonies under a single banner. Reeves and his team stood on the balcony of a massive space station, looking out at the Earth below. Cole took a deep breath. It's strange, you know. No more war. No more running. We actually won. Shaw crossed her arms. I don't think this is the end. There's a whole galaxy out there. Who knows what comes next? Elena smirked. Whatever it is, I just hope I get at least 1 week of vacation first. Reeves chuckled. Enjoy it while you can, because if history has taught us anything, it's that humanity never stops moving forward. As they watched the sunrise over Earth, one thing was certain. The war was over, but the age of humanity had just begun.